Protect is widely regarded as one of the most important moves in VGC, so I told my viewers this week that they don't get to do that. Bauerdad here, and welcome to the series premiere of Funday Monday, where I give you, the viewer, a different challenge every week. The theme for this week was No Protect. There is a series of moves that I'm disallowing, and the replays here are going to showcase viewers undertaking that challenge. So let's get right into the first one here. Our hero, the viewer, Gil X Mayhem, is going to be against Skos. I'm going to get this game started in particular. His opponent is going to lead with Fluttermane Annihilate. Now, this is normally a case where having Protect would be really nice because there is a lot of pressure from Fluttermane against Gil's two Pokemon. Protect allows you to sort of mitigate some of those options that your opponent might go for. And so we're going to see how he decides to start off, knowing that he is unable to protect himself. It is Bowermom's favorite way to play VGC. Gil is going to Terrasilize immediately. Fluttermane did not get the memo about Funday Monday, and so it is going to Protect. Annihilate is going to immediately heal off the damage, and Ironhead is going into the protected slot. Chien-Pao used Sucker Punch before I could pause it there, but the first turn, Gil is almost down an entire Pokemon and accomplished next to nothing. Chien-Pao is going to go for the Sucker Punch. Annihilate is going to take some more damage, but Fluttermane is going to finish off Chien-Pao with the Dazzling Gleam, and then Dragonite's going to go down, and Annihilate is going to heal back almost everything that it lost. We're 2 turns in, Gil is getting folded like a cheap lawn chair, and the 2 Pokemon that he has left aren't even faster than either of his opponent's Pokemon. The only thing that could conceivably turn the tide here is if Gil were able to fake out one of his opponent's targets, and he can't because they're both ghost types. It is looking very deadly for Gil here. Now, if you are Skos, you are thinking, what is the best way to close out this game? What is the best way to close out this game? I want you to think about it for a second, because what Skos is about to do is not something that you're going to guess. I'm gonna give it a second, and I'm gonna hit play again. Watch what Skos does. Watch what Skos does. Annihilate is gonna Terra Fire, and he's gonna side Mystic Fire, conceivably to try and get a Defiant boost, but instead just loses Fluttermane for nothing. Loses it for nothing. Listen. Go back to the screen here. Okay. You may be looking at that and thinking, okay, well, you can't Mystic Fire your ally in order to get the Defiant boost. Let's just assume for one moment that it did work that way. How is that better than just attacking with a fairy move? Just pick one, pick a fairy move, pick a target. They're both weak to it. You are faster. It's free damage. And instead this happened. Left Fluttermane open to get KO'd. Skos finally lost a Pokemon, and Gil was able to paralyze the Annihilate, which is actually going to come in quite handy here in a moment. Murkrow comes out to set the Tailwind, which is not tremendously useful because Gil is actually going to clean up Murkrow and the Annihilate very easily. Chi-Yu comes out. Gil is going to tack on a Ice Shard to just make sure and break that sash that Chi-Yu might be holding. And then the Drain Punch is going to wrap it up. And the whole match turns around. Because Gil's opponent decided to be overly cute. You don't need to add finesse to everything. You just don't. Skos had Gil absolutely dead to rights on turn 3, and then instead of just picking a super effective fairy move to use, decided to try something cute and then got creamed for it. All right, I've got the second game loaded up. Almost every single one of these submissions that I received was from a player who said, righto, I don't get to protect. I'm just going to win as fast as humanly possible so I don't have to do it. Totally a valid strategy, but I wanted to showcase this game from Captain Oro using, as you can see, a much slower team. There's a Fluttermane and Garchomp and a bunch of other Pokemon that are slower. Not only does Captain Oro not use Protect in this game, but he also doesn't have Protect on this team. So this round in particular is a really excellent view of other ways in which you can protect, defend, redirect, and get yourself an advantageous position. So Captain Oro is going to lead Fluttermane Klefki to Farigiraf and Hariyama. We're going to see immediately one of those methods of protection is Reflect from the Klefki in order to mitigate damage. Now, Farigiraf is going to set Trick Room, and Hariyama is going to reveal the Guts and have that Flame Orb. Captain Oro doing a very clever switch in order to, 1, dodge the Headlong Rush, and 2, doing another switch there, and 2, in order to resist the Hyper Voice from Farigiraf. Now, 2 more switches took place. Captain Oro decided to go back to Fluttermane, and the opponent swapped for Kingambit. Farigiraf protects, and Klefki will use Dazzling Gleam. It's not going to do too much damage. And another switch, and another switch. You'll see very, very clearly here that Captain Oro is taking advantage of these defensive switches in order to take advantage, and a Wild Ymir is doing the exact same thing in order to try and regain position. You'll notice that Kingambit got that Swords Dance up, but the 2 Pokemon that he left in front of the Kingambit are not going to care too much about it. Tinglu going to Grass type is going to shrug off that Iron Head, no problem. Corviknight is going to bulk up. The Trick Room wears off, and even this +2, Kingambit is just not getting a lot done. Stomping Tantrum is going to do some damage, and Corviknight is going to take a Leech Seed, and then something really interesting is going to happen here. As soon as Wo-Chien sets the Leech Seed, he's going to ignore Wo-Chien from here on out. Wo-Chien protects. Corviknight is going to Roost, immediately recognizing that it is not, the onus is not on Captain Oro to break Wo-Chien, it's the other way around. Hariyama is going to come in with this Fake Out. It's going to slow down Corviknight just for a little bit, but Hariyama is also going to go down. Wo-Chien throws up a Substitute. Going to be ridiculously hard to kill, but it doesn't really matter because Captain Oro is going to continue to ruthlessly target the other Pokemon. Whoever Wo-Chien is not, that is who is going to take the brunt of these attacks. It doesn't really matter what a Wild Ymir is doing here because none of these attacks are doing a lot of damage, whereas Captain Oro has a lot more options in terms of sustainability, boosting stats. We're going to see a Ruination come out. It's just a very excellent showcase of how you don't really need Protect necessarily in order to make things happen. This Tinglu is absolutely unkillable, just going to keep doing Earthquakes until it goes down. Once we get to turn 12 here, I'm actually going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. It's down to just Wo-Chien, but we know it only has Protect, Leech Seed, Substitute, and Snarl. So yes, it is going to take like 5 or 6 more turns to knock this thing out, but Captain Oro has such good sustainability and bulk on his team that it really is just a matter of time, and Wo-Chien will go down on the 17th turn. It did its job talking about Wo-Chien, but it didn't really do anything to stop its teammates from getting creamed. And even though Captain Oro did not use Protect at any point in there, it still felt like he had a very good defensive core, strong switches, bulk up, sustainability, was able to play a very defensive game without using what is arguably the best defensive move. And that concludes this week's episode of Funday Monday. You're thinking to yourself, maybe I need more Protects on my team. Maybe you don't. You could take a page out of Captain Oro's book and use one of the many methods that he employed in order to play a more defensive team, or you can take a page out of Gil's book and cross your fingers, because in a game of Pokemon, it's not over until it's over. At this point, I would like to reveal the theme for the official week 1 of Funday Monday. If you're ready to submit your replays, the form link is going to be down below. The theme for week 1 is as follows. All 6 of your Pokemon must share a type. We're doing gym leader battles. The Terra types of your Pokemon can be whatever they want. Just the natural typing of the 6 Pokemon that you select must all have something in common. Submit your replays, and I'll see you next Monday.